Hey, welcome back, Capricorns. Let's go ahead and take a little peek. I'm going to see what we got for my Cappies. All right, so Capricorns, we have cycles of life. It's actually quite lovely. I'm looking at what would be kind of like emerging out of the foggy, misty, subconscious, what is taking shape, what is becoming more visible or more like comprehensible, we'll say. And that cycles of life card is suggesting that Capricorn is perhaps starting to recognize with grace and peace that something that they've already endured, they can accept. This feels like emerging from a time of pain or a time of like feeling that pressure to hold on or feeling that pressure to grieve. That all seems to be like settling. And I'm wondering if it's because Capricorn is about to enter into a new cycle of life. Oh, they are. I'm sorry. I missed the butterfly there on the fingertip. Yeah. There's been profound healing. We got the Four of Swords. I think Capricorn is going to notice within the next 4 days that everything feels lighter. Like they don't cry so much or they don't feel so much grief, where they're starting to feel not only okay about something that was quite devastating, but they're going to be feeling like, you know what? My life doesn't stop here. I actually feel better maybe than I did even before. I feel more at peace. I feel like there's some kind of, oh God, so much healing here, so much healing for our Capricorn. Slowly recognizing when we've healed and actually feeling good again. That's what this whole message is about. Yes, it has been a long time, but the healing has been very thorough, very profound. And in fact, I think it's like jettisoned our Capricorn kind of into even like a spiritual understanding of why something occurred in their life, or how, the grieving process works. Or this is not to minimize what they have lost. All right. Capricorn has obviously lost something or has been through something very, very painful, very, very difficult. This is not to be like, oh, well, they're fine now. It's not that. It's like they've transcended it. We got the Nine of Swords in the reverse. No more sleepless nights. I think Capricorn was either drained but couldn't sleep for a long time. And now they're like, I'm sleeping like a babe. I'm not tangled up wondering about things anymore. I'm not tangled up wondering about someone, about where they are, about what happened, about an ending, about, whatever this pain, whatever this loss, whatever this sorrow was. Capricorn's not trapped in the emotions around it anymore. Yeah, that Five of Pentacles. They kept thinking that they had lost something instead of that they had grown beyond something. Also, if there is a spiritual component, we do see a cathedral here. So, if our Capricorn, like lost someone near and dear to them, a pet, heck, I mean, anything that we change in life and that we cycle out of can at first feel like something to grieve, like a loss. Maybe we are ending our 20s and going into our 30s and we're grieving that, the loss of our 20s. Maybe it's, I used to live in this one town and then, I liked the house I lived in, but it was time for me to move. And even if I wanted to move at the same time, I still grieved the change, the loss, that chapter of my life that I may not ever go back there again. And that always feels like a loss until we realize that all those memories, they stay with us. Now, if this was the loss of like something that was negative, turns out somebody we thought was trustworthy isn't. And that kind of loss is like what I lost was my trust in a person. That would be a huge thing to grieve. And of course it would feel like, but it left this gaping hole, because it wasn't just that they aren't in my life. It's who I thought they were that's not in my life. Therefore, it left this hole. And that's actually where my trust used to be. So I could totally understand how this would have been such a tremendous thing to grieve and lose and repair one's heart from. But the key component of all of this is that, in fact, no matter what scenario that was, Capricorn has grown beyond the emotions surrounding this. They've gained that perspective. It has transformed them. But it's transformed them into somebody who's now healed, somebody who now no longer feels the stress, and somebody who now knows that once in a while, maybe we're fortunate if somebody who turns out to be untruthful leaves our life, better than them eating up any more of our time. Or if, we have to say farewell too soon to a situation that we really enjoyed, or even just change, because change is hard. There's also this like sense of, yes, but the good things that I might have moved beyond or grown out of or grown past, or things that I've had to say goodbye to because of the natural order of life, those memories stay with me. So warm memories I keep, negative memories I can release. It just really feels so soothing. Like our Capricorn has really gone beyond some things that were painful or difficult. We have the Liberation card, which this is actually the Judgment card. And again, we bring in that butterfly. So we know this Capricorn, they are reborn right now. I don't want to dwell too much on what it was that they had to heal from and get beyond, get over, but we can see they are light years away from who they used to be. They are light years away from, if it was somebody that betrayed them or hurt them. This is not who Capricorn even is anymore. They wouldn't even digest this experience the same way anymore because they're so transformed beyond this now. And sure enough, this is like, oh, I've actually totally made peace with it, and I'm free to live my next best life. Very beautiful, because this new chapter begins. There could be a lot of flowers around Capricorn. Also, they could really love flowers. They may be seeing butterflies, right around this time as well, those symbols of transformation, whether it's, noticing that there's an image of a butterfly, on someone's back of the car decal, or seeing a butterfly out in the wild, or, coming across whatever stationery and there's a picture of a butterfly on it, or somebody's business logo or business card has a butterfly. I just feel like butterflies are probably going to be those, like messages that you're all right, you got this, you've transformed beyond this. We have a Four of Wands in the reverse. I'm definitely going to say it wouldn't have been Capricorn's ultimate happiness. And right now, it kind of looks like somebody Capricorn thought they were going to marry didn't turn out to be the person that they're going to marry. And now they're like, well, hell no, they couldn't have been the person I was going to marry. We didn't even match up. Now I see it without the grief, without the shock, without the sorrows. Now I just say, oh, that wouldn't have fit. Oh, heck no, that job wouldn't have been perfect. That person wouldn't have been the person I would have married. That I couldn't keep living there. I was ready to move on. What I actually was stuck. So it wasn't so much about grieving. All of this has been a process of like being reborn and becoming more free. Like a baby is held captive in mama's tummy while they're still, the little buns in the oven, becoming a little human, right? And then once a baby is birthed, they are liberated into this big, huge world. Granted, they still need lots and lots of help until they get, to be people instead of children. But the baby is like liberated and gets a chance to, learn to use their little eyeballs and their little hands and get to explore the world and get to explore being their own little sovereign entity more and more each passing year as they grow into an adult. And I think this is the best analogy. If Capricorn had actually been, and they're just now realizing this, I was actually very held captive, and I've just now been rebirthed, and I realize, oh my God, I got back to me, but I'm even a better version of me because I'm a wiser version. I'm a healed version. I'm somebody that doesn't have to deal with the wrong, relationship anymore. Or God, it's so obvious now. I was actually putting myself in a like captive or holding pattern, wanting to be with somebody that I thought was my perfect person that maybe never was. And I can see it so clearly. Or I was held captive by the grief of feeling like, but that person was so perfect for me. How could this have ended and ended poorly? And it's like, but wait a second, if it ended poorly, that's maybe the proof that that wasn't the right person for Capricorn. So all of this, it's just Capricorn is like so liberated. They're so like, oh my God, I was stuck on something that honestly wasn't even for me. Oh, look at this. We got a King of Pentacles and we got the Sun. The clarity, the empowerment. I think Capricorn is so dialed in. They know exactly what they want now. They are happy again. I feel like Capricorn's going to be laughing. I feel like they're going to be outside. I think they're going to be doing things. I think they're going to be like, everything is going to feel like they came out of like a long, deep sleep where they haven't been like on planet Earth in a long time, and they're going to start to like notice how beautiful the day is, how sweet the flowers smell, how great, juice tastes, how everything just feels like it's going to be kind of a delight for the senses. This groundedness, this empowered energy. By the way, all this time it looked like we were talking about a feminine. Now we could have Capricorn coming across as a masculine. We all have yin yang within us. It never matters to me what genders we're talking about, but we definitely see Capricorn shifting into their divine masculine empowered state of being the King of Pentacles and being so freaking joyful. This is somebody who's like, I don't know, I could picture Capricorn getting themselves dressed up nice and going out and like whatever, just walking through the local weekend market or something and saying hi to everybody and just dressing their best and really going out and buying themselves a nice lunch. And I don't know, just celebrating being alive. That's how this feels. I am celebrating my life and my ability to live the next chapter of my life free from a tremendous amount of grief. Let me add one thing into this. If this were a message about, because cycles of life, obviously it's hard to let anything go. But if our Capricorn, suffered a loss and it was the grieving process that they were, moving through, I feel like this is such a huge, like maybe those butterflies are going to be messages from, an ancestor on the other side of the rainbow bridge who's like, listen, darling, I'm not gone. It's just a transformation. Remember, laws of thermodynamic. Energy is never created nor destroyed. It is merely transferred. So I'm still here. I'm maybe in an energetic form now. But when you see sunlight, that's me. When you see a butterfly, that's me. Like, it feels like there's this really, I don't know, like this really warm, like I think Capricorn is going to understand this at like that really clear but emotional level. And I think it's just going to make them like really go out and live their best life, because I feel like that's what, like an ancestor or a loved one or, whomever is on the other side of the rainbow bridge is trying to encourage them. And I think Capricorn's getting that memo loud and clear now that the grieving process has been, I don't want to say over, but more like, again, transformed into, now, wait a second. This is the time to, be joyful and live as well. So this just feels really, really sweet. It feels like our Capricorn is in a much better frame of mind. We have a 7 of Swords. What's the lie about? Was Capricorn just putting on a happy face for other people before and now they're actually happy? No, it's not that. It's actually that we have a perfect matched pair. Okay. Somebody has been paying attention to Capricorn, wondering, will Capricorn notice me at some point? I know Capricorn's been going through a tough time. I know they've been healing. I know they've been, dealing with what they had to, but I've been walking back and forth in front of them, trying to catch their eye. I feel like somebody has been trying to flirt, trying to get Capricorn to notice them, and Capricorn has just not been in the head or heart space to pay attention to a potential romantic interest. There is somebody who makes excuses to pop into Capricorn's life just to try to get them to, hey, notice me, notice me, notice me. Do you see me yet? This is somebody who already is like a terrific match for Capricorn. They've been patient, but they have been making excuses to waltz in front of Capricorn, possibly dressing their best. If Capricorn pauses, now that they're kind of like reawakening, right? Capricorn is coming back to life after a grieving process. Now that they're kind of awake and aware and everything smells better and food tastes yummier and they're engaging in life again and feeling happy to be here, I kind of think this could be very cute, very sweet. And Capricorn might be like, oh my God, I do see this person an awful lot. Wait, have they been flirting with me all this time? Have they been trying to get me to notice them? I have not paid them any attention. It just wasn't even on my radar. And now I'm realizing this person's been around a lot. This is great. Knight of Swords. You know what? This could be another big, huge shift in gears for Capricorn, but going from loss, grieving to recovery, and then that rebirth process leads to, potentially a romantic interest that just kind of suddenly begins. Why? Because Capricorn's actually back to life. They're back to being ready to like live their best life and engage and be super present. This is super positive. It does seem like we're shifting gears really, really fast, but sometimes epiphanies happen. Sometimes we reach the end of a process. The same way, if you're in school and you've been in school for 12 years and then you're graduating high school, all of a sudden one day it does come to a close. That's it. You've been in school for 12 years and then one day you're not in school anymore. You're done. You've graduated. And now the rest of life begins. And it can be that seemingly sudden when in fact it was a gradual process. But at some point, everything is complete, and then you just step onto the next highway of life. And that's maybe the best way to look at this. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up.